Let's give Gilbert Zachary a round of applause, our wonderful pianist. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We're at 2653 South Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Centers for Spiritual Living 2026 Global Theme. Open at the top. August 23rd, 2026, Order of Service. Our monthly theme is The Fear and the Furious. Our weekly topic is Mobilizing Anger. And our prelude was done by Mr. Gilbert Zachary. I want to welcome you here to Miracle Center once more. And if you would, just be still. Put your feet flat on the floor. Take a cleansing breath. Infinite Spirit, in whom we live, move, and have our being. We just know that God is right here in this service, in this day. God is working in and through each and every person that's involved. Our wonderful pianist, our wonderful Zoom technician, Christopher Harris. And I'm H. Jerry Lawson. I will be your practitioner for today. Each and every person that's here is blessed. Each and every person that's on their way here are blessed. And each and every person that's on Zoom connected to us electronically by the miracles are blessed. Most of all, our speaker today, Reverend Teresa Slusher. She is blessed with this wonderful message from God. This message through God, in God, with God. And we just give thanks for this time that we are here together as I release this into the ethers. And if you're in agreement with me, you can say with me, and so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Morning.
Anger often gets a bad rap, but what if it holds a secret spark? Affirmation. I channel my anger into meaningful, courageous action. I channel my anger into meaningful, courageous action. Science of mind point of view, emotion uncontrolled produces chaos. Unexpressed, it produces confusion, conflict, and complexes. For energy will have an outlet. Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind, page 588. From a science of mind perspective, anger is not something to ignore, but an energy to understand and skillfully redirect. This philosophy teaches there is a creative power in the universe, greater than any individual, and we can consciously align with it to transform our emotional states. Now, let me say that again. From a science of mind point of view, anger is not something to ignore, but an energy to understand and skillfully redirect. This philosophy teaches there is a creative power in the universe, greater than any individual, and we can consciously align with it to transform our emotional states. Rather than viewing anger purely as destructive, Science of Mind invites us to recognize anger as a signal, an invitation to a deeper awareness of our values and boundaries. By cultivating mindfulness and spiritual awareness, we learn to pause and inquire. What core truth or cherished principle is being threatened? In this way, anger becomes an opportunity for growth and conscious action.
Yes.
When transmuted through spiritual practice, anger's fire can fuel courageous conversations, just action, and compassionate boundary setting. We become co-creators with spirit, channeling our emotions for collective upliftment and healing. Mobilizing anger does not mean lashing out. It means consciously channeling towards justice, compassion, creative change. We align with greater good when we transmute reactive energy into sacred momentum. And now we're going to have a song by the Gospel Groove Girls, Fire in My Bones. Christopher? Fire in my bones, yes. It's the first time I've heard from that group. Everybody awake out there?
Yes.
All right. Now, our message is coming from Reverend Teresa Slusher today. Reverend Teresa, are you out there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! So, fire in the bones.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I saw that song and I thought, yeah, I think this is going to help get the message across. So, is everyone feeling fired up?
Yes, yes.
Well, we're going to talk about anger and mobilizing anger. And the question becomes, anger, can we really mobilize it into working for us instead of against us? Everyone experiences the feeling of anger, and we all express our anger in various forms. Perhaps we're lashing out at people, yelling. Maybe we go off and cry. We fight with words, and sometimes we even hit. We have learned in our society to view anger as destructive and harmful, and it is. And so we try to avoid angry people, and we even become angry at ourselves for being angry. Yet, beneath anger is a cry for profound love. It's a cry for justice, a cry for well-being, for dignity, or for the relationships and values that we hold dear. So, how can we transform our anger into compassionate action for collective good? Let us reclaim this fiery force and harness it for healing. But first, let's look at what is anger anyway. Anger is a fiery response to something we don't agree with in our life. And when it does flare up, it can act like an internal alarm system. Bells go off, whistles blow, steam comes out of the head. Instantly, it's alerting us whenever a personal boundary has been crossed or a deeply held value feels threatened. And this fiery response is a strong, natural feeling of displeasure, annoyance, or even hostility. And it happens when you think, there's those thoughts, when you think another is antagonizing you, hurting you, treating you unfairly, or blocking you from a goal. When we feel we are being antagonized, we would naturally, of course, become angered. When fired up with anger, we typically feel the need to fight or flight. As I mentioned before, our behavior can become destructive and even ugly. Anger can flare when there is a conflict with something or someone, and we will fight to work against them, or we flee to avoid further conflict. When fighting, our anger can even escalate, and in fleeing, our anger can fester, eating us up inside. Whether in fighting or fleeing, it can fester as a small irritation or escalate into intense rage. And our behavior mirrors our feelings of anger. And these behaviors are written on our faces. People say, oh my goodness, she's angry. Look at her. And they can escalate from feelings of being incensed, furious, overwrought, fuming, seething, fiery, belligerent, and even hysterical. And outwardly, we might try to behave with an attitude that might even look like we're going along to get along. And yet at the same time, those feelings can fester and even increase. When Jerry was doing the intro, the Science of Mind point of view, the whole intro, you could hear the fire. You could hear the fire, the passion in his voice. But it wasn't anger. It wasn't anger. So we're going to explore that difference a little bit. But when you feel angry, we notice that our body experiences certain biological and physiological changes. We get an increased energy levels, right? When you're angry, you're like, oh, ready to like, whew. Our raised blood pressure, our hormones even spike, like adrenaline and noradrenaline, I think it's what it's called. Our body temperature will even increase. We'll feel hot-blooded. And our muscle tension increases. We're ready to fight or flee. And we can end up making ourselves sick with life-threatening diseases if we just hang on to this anger and we go, ugh, how did we get here? Outwardly, we express our anger in the various forms, where we do become furious and fume, and we can become noticeably belligerent and even hysterical. Yet, subconsciously, what's really going on is a fear of loss. We're feeling let down, not heard, bitter, disappointed, threatened, overlooked, frightened, and even feelings of unwelcome. This is a space we don't want to dwell in for too long, as it creates situations and conditions that can ruin a wonderful life. So we seek ways to diffuse and cope by maybe, again, yelling, arguing, smoking, and or drinking to extinguish and push the anger down. And there are a multitude of many destructive behaviors we can express ourselves in. But what if we can find constructive ways to shift our feelings by using our thoughts? See, here we go thinking again. To find that peace and calm, to where the fire within our hearts, within our bones, within our belly, bring about positive changes. Where we really want assurance, where we really want to be motivated and daring and feel protected, and where we're bold, brave, where we feel considered as well as we consider others, where we're affectionate and proud. Because inwardly, this is where we really want to reside. In the science of mind, we learn to be mindful and honor our internal messengers, such as our thoughts and our emotions, our feelings in motion, because these are vital messengers that are, they're our guidance. And they help guide us during our personal and our spiritual journeys. In our teaching, we learn to pause and we learn to reflect. We might ask questions such as, do these thoughts or emotions serve me? Do these thoughts and emotions serve the highest good for myself and for others? What part of myself is seeking understanding? What part of myself is seeking healing? What part of myself is seeking protection? The best thing we can really do to transform anger is to approach it with curiosity. What is my anger telling me about me? Why am I getting so fired up about this or that? Where do I feel perhaps a sense of loss? Why am I not feeling protected? What's going on with me? When we approach anger with curiosity, we open a pathway for exploration. Anger isn't ever really about the other person. They're not experiencing your anger unless you lash out at them. You're the one feeling the anger. Think of it like this. Curiosity doesn't kill the cat. Curiosity is the beginning of seeing something in a new light. Curiosity is actually a pathway towards compassion. And curiosity gives us the gifts of wisdom. Curiosity allows us to listen deeply and to recognize what is behind the feeling. Our feelings are talking to us. So let us talk to our feelings. In this way, we can transform our anger from an impulsive reaction into a powerful doorway for insight, conscious growth, and meaningful spiritual evolution. Instead of staying stuck in the muck, we commit to learning and growing. We are here on our evolutionary journey to wholeness, acceptance, and love for oneself and humanity. As Science of Mind, are we not committed to creating a world that works for everyone? So let us be the powerful, loving human beings we came here to be, and let our whole selves show us the way, and let the fire burn brightly. Let us move away from the usual and the plain, the sarcasm and the hostility. Let us move into enthusiasm, delight, astonishment, and awe. Let us be curious, inquisitive, interested, and full of wonder. For instance, when we approach the fiery feelings with curiosity, we create an opportunity for compassion. Instead of feeling all worked up and raged, letting our feelings get away with us, we can step into a conscious awareness, into mindfulness, and then choice. Instead of feeling impulsively and hastily angry, we stop and listen. Pause and cultivate a willingness to look at things differently. So we're going to try a small exercise. And this exercise, I have designed it to be fun and not strenuous. It is my hopes that it will help to put anger into a whole new light and to help create a free feeling, help to make you more perceptive and insightful, and conjure up an appreciation for what we call anger. Are you interested?
Do it.
Okay. Are you curious?
Yes.
Okay. I bet you wonder where this is going.
Yep.
Okay. So I invite you to get comfortable in your seat. If you can, place your feet on the floor to ground yourself with the earth energy. And now place your hands on your lap. And you can put your hands up to receive or down. It makes no difference. But this is a more of a receptive stance with your palms up. And go ahead, if you so choose, to close your eyes. And take just a few breaths, 3 or 4 breaths. This will help you relax. It'll help you relax in your body, your physiology, and become more connected with your inner beingness. So maybe a couple more breaths. And just be fully present right here and right now. And now gently recall a time when you were angered. A time where maybe you were angered by someone, a situation, or a condition. And really get into remembering those feelings of that anger. And maybe you're currently angry with someone. Just relax and get into that feeling. And look at who or what is attacking you, bothering you, questioning you. Feel that feeling conjuring up, that fire, that anger. Recall as clearly as possible where you are and who is there. Of course, you are naturally angry. Why wouldn't you be? You're being so very much irritated and provoked. You just want them to leave you alone. But you're angry, and you're getting more and more angry. Feel that anger. Now, let's look at this situation with curiosity. Instead of feeling attacked or bothered, questioned, or even burdened or annoyed, you realize you have choice. You can choose to look at the situation or condition with optimism and curiosity. So you accept the situation as it is. You're feeling your feelings. And then you adapt and adjust as you begin to recognize your self-worth and the worth of everyone involved. After all, their feelings matter just as much as yours. You both deserve to be heard and acknowledged. So you open yourself to listen deeply because you are curious. Just listen. We are always at choice. We always have the power of choice. It is a birthright. We were given free will at birth. So you choose wisely. And with the wisdom that curiosity gives, you are now receptive instead of incensed. That fire is diminishing because you're being receptive. You're listening. You're curious. Yes, you feel adequate and prepared in this situation, and you demonstrate love and compassion just by listening. So instead of feeling bothered or annoyed, you are open and no longer feeling furious. In fact, the flames of anger have been transmuted to compassion. You are prepared to meet any question with curiosity, and your answers are adequate because you are adequate. You are no longer feeling fiery, but you're relaxed and refreshed. In fact, you are feeling invigorated and fully aware of everything and everyone around you. See how everything has shifted in your favor. See how everything, because you are an integral part of creating a world that works for everyone. In the words of the Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, we can transform our anger and even our anxiety and cultivate our energy of peace, understanding, and compassion as the basis of action. Breathe and relax into this moment. And now you can come back into the room with a renewed and fresh outlook on life. Anger is a friend when you approach life with curiosity. Beneath that anger lies a profound love for justice, for well-being, for dignity, and for the relationships and values that we hold dear. Science of Mind teaches us that both love and law guide the universe. When anger rises within us, it acts as a signal, pointing directly to the things we cherish most deeply and illuminating our innermost convictions. This perspective invites us to pause and recognize that our strongest emotions are often born from a deep desire to protect, heal, and uphold something sacred. By honoring this love, we can use anger as constructive fuel, creating change rooted in compassion, clarity, and a heart-centered purpose for creating a better world. Anger transmuted is passion. It is compassion. That fire's still there. That fire that was destructive is now constructive. You know, our anger is a friend that helps us to understand who we are and how we choose to be in this world. It's true, our anger sometimes can be frightening, scary, and we fear angry people, do we not? Because angry people, they do scary things, don't they? And sometimes we fear our own anger. I remember one time I was so angry with my sister, so angry with her, that I got into a fight physical fight with her. I had her down on the ground, and I was ready to take her head and just bash it onto the basement concrete floor. Something caught me. I don't know what it was, but reflecting and looking back on it, I knew it was my love for her that stopped me. No matter how angry I was with her, my love overcame that anger. Did it smite the fire within me? No. The anger was transmuted to compassion. Do we fear fire? We can. Fire can be destructive, yet it can also warm our homes. Fire, when used constructively, is our friend. It brings light and warmth. In fact, the sun is a big ball of fire, but look at the light that it brings. Look at the warmth that it brings. And on a hot day, we say, oh, look at the heat that it brings. Anger is also a fire within. And when transmuted, brings love and compassion. If you've ever seen pictures of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, there's a fire. There's a flame in that heart. Anger is a friend and nothing to be feared. Do you fear your friends? Do you? Do you fear your friends? If you do, they are not friends. Your friends, they give you courage. And guess what? Anger also gives you courage. It is the fire in your heart, down into your belly and in your bones. Recognize it and learn from it, and then transmute it into the power of love. If not, then your great friend we call anger can become your greatest enemy. Have the courage to transmute your anger to love and compassion. The word courage is very interesting to me, because if we were to break down the word courage, we would come up with this. When you spell courage, C-O-U-R-A-G-E, C-O is most commonly works as a prefix, meaning together with or jointly, as seen in words like co-worker or co-founder. And in the middle of the word courage, there is a letter U. We can say you, Y-O-U. And at the end, after the U in the word courage, is rage, R-A-G-E. Courage is you with rage. Rage is the fire in your belly. Have the courage to make change in your world, in your life. And we have a reading. So if our reader would gently, kindly step forward.
Good morning. Reading for August 23rd, 2026. Fear as Your Teacher. Science of Mind magazine, Monday, August 31st, 2026, page 64. Fear as your teacher. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. Ambrose Redmond. Just as the creative power of the soil receives all seeds put into it and at once begins to work on them, so the mind must receive all thought and at once begin to operate on it. Ernest Holmes, Creative Mind and Success, page 11. We all experience fear. Some say it's one of our most powerful emotions, particularly when we experience growth or change in our lives. It's unhealthy to avoid our fears, but we can use them as learning tools. Those who experience rapid times of growth and transformation use fear as a tool for feedback rather than something that stops them in their tracks. Teacher and author Father Richard Rohr writes this about fear. Expelling what we can't embrace gives us an identity, but it's a negative identity. It is not life energy, it's death energy. Formulating what we are against gives us a quick, clear sense of ourselves. Thus, most people fall for it. People more easily define themselves by what they are against, by whom they hate, by who else is wrong, instead of by what they believe in and whom they love. Rohr stresses that the alternative to fear is faith, which is based in love. I invite you to explore one of your fears today. Perhaps one you've had for a long time and that you struggle to overcome. Examine how you describe your fear. It is possible to reframe this in a more positive way. Are you identifying your fear as a negative identity or a positive identity? Our fear often highlights our most important values and can motivate us to take action. We can use this fear as a vehicle for our growth, as a vehicle to evolve into our true selves, as expressions of infinite good. Affirmation: I am open to life's many opportunities to learn. I seek opportunities to know myself as a divine love I am. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for that reading. And we have what I would call a very powerful song. So Chris, if you will take us into the song called I Have the Power by Fearless Soul. Ernest Holmes tells us that the more power one gives to his thought, the more completely he believes that his thought has power. The more power will it have. Remember, fear is a choice, and fear of loss is what is behind anger. So, we are not afraid of anger, or I should say, do not be afraid of anger, but awaken to its power, the fire in the soul, your heart, your bones, the blood, the life-giving energy. Recognize it as a commanding force that can inspire change. When and only when we approach it with mindfulness, with our thoughts. In the tradition of science of mind, don't judge your emotions or label them as good or bad. Just know what they are. Know what your thoughts are about them. Learn from your feelings. Learn from your thinking. Allow each feeling to offer that unique wisdom. Be curious. Ask questions. Anger when met with a spiritual consciousness and a willingness to listen, becomes a profound tool for personal and collective transformation. We're in this together. Your self-worth is just as important as another's self-worth. We're all worthy. We're all good enough. We can all do this. Rather than letting anger divide or consume you, eat you up alive, invite yourself to listen deeply to the anger's message and transform it into compassion. Honor the intensity of that fire. Honor the intensity of that call. Honor that burning desire. And consciously direct it toward the healing of yourself and your communities. Because at the heart, the sacred heart is that fire of love, is that fierce devotion to justice, to dignity, and to well-being. It becomes a sacred task, your sacred task, your sacred task, not mine alone, ours together collectively, and yours alone, to channel your energy into wise, compassionate action that can only uplift and unite all of humanity. Become a meaningful agent of change and let your fire burn brightly, that fire that we called anger transmuted into compassion for all of humanity. We're going to go ahead and take this into a spiritual mind treatment. So if you'll place your feet firmly on the ground and open yourself up to receiving, knowing that there is one divine source that sources all, that this source is alive and it is fired up. One divine source. Running through, in, around, and as all that has been created. That is all beings, human and otherwise. All. And knowing that this energy, this aliveness is operating flawlessly and beautifully, wholly, 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 surrounding each and every integral part of this created world with love, compassion, devotion, and inspiration. And so I give thanks for this opportunity to express the beauty and the glory and the joy of this life-giving energy that we sometimes call anger, that we know is really passion when it is practiced in love and joy. And with this, I release my words to the law, knowing that we are in agreement, and together we say, and so it is.
Amen. Let's give Reverend Teresa a round of applause. She took a weekly topic of mobilizing fear and turned it around. And for those of you that came in a little bit late, the first song was really outstanding. The Fire in My Bones. That was a very, very good song. I had never heard of the artist before, but you should take it off your program and plug it into your computer at home or onto your phone and just play it. It's a wonderful, wonderful song. And I'll do the benediction. So if you would, just take a meditative stance. Let your feet rest on the floor in the foundation of earth. Ground yourself. Father, Mother God, we just give thanks for this time that we've had together. We give thanks for the explanation of fear. We give thanks for Reverend Slesher, who's brought us these two wonderful songs and this wonderful, wonderful message this Sunday. But we know that we are blessed. We are blessed as we make our trips to our homes, our individual homes. We are blessed as we stop across the hall and taste our little snack. We are blessed as we do the peace song after service. And if you're in agreement with me, you can say with me, and so it is. Amen. Amen and amen. And for the announcements, if practitioners are available for personal prayer and assistance after service Sunday mornings. Prayer request forms are on the backs of chairs in the sanctuary, and you may also mail your request to the MCS. Email your request to the MCSL email address below. Remember our members and friends in prayer. Our end of month donation, $25, is next Sunday. Just a little reminder. Your continued support with special end of month contributions are appreciated. Chair exercise classes are on Wednesdays, and we have fun. She has a wonderful music that she plays. She exercises us. We know we're exercised by the pain that we feel the next day. So wear comfortable clothing and shoes. These are chair exercises, and the donation is only $5. Richer Living Bookstore is open after Sunday service from 1 to 3:30. And that's it. This concludes our service for today. So if you would, circle up for those that are here in the sanctuary, and we will sing the peace song.